is the great time to use a Venn diagram? Kylan?
When you're comparing and contrasting.
Exactly. In the past, I'd always kept an eye on the newspaper. I'd kept up to date on current events, but I never felt the need to become actively involved. It was when I started seeing things change in Indiana, when we started having the push away from public education and the needs of the majority of our students towards charter schools, vouchers, things that are going to pull money away from public schools, the majority of our students, that I really felt the need to become involved. Now, I'm not a person opposed to change in education. I understand there are ways that we can make ourselves better. I understand that there's always something new or different we can try with our students. My concern is when we are not keeping the interest of the students at heart.
So we were all thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We were talking to one legislator and he said, you need to fill the State House again. We actually have 3 buses that we're taking from here, which isn't near enough. But it's just a jumping point, you know, to get our story out there, to tell our side of the story, because the other side of the story has been told quite a bit. It's a day for us to take signs and to basically scream it out. Please, don't destroy our profession. Don't destroy the public schools.
I want my voice to be heard, as well as every other educator and every other parent. In the state of Indiana, we all need to come together and tell our government what we want, what we desire, and what's best for our kids.
I'm going down to the State House rally just because I'm concerned about some of the laws that are being proposed in the State House that are very much anti-teacher, anti-public schools, and really trying to deprofessionalize my profession.
When you look at that legislation, that charter school bill will allow those buildings to be run by an administrator who has no background in education. And worse than that, the legislation will allow for 51% of the teaching staff to not have a college degree in education. What they're saying and what they're doing are running counter to each other, and I would like some answers.
Put kids first! Save our schools!
I know that I'm singing to the choir. I know that we're all in this together and that everyone here is supporting public ed, but you know what? The choir's got to go home and start singing, and that's what we need to do.
There is a bill that's going to be voted on tomorrow in the Senate in Indiana that will, if passed, only require 50% of educators in a charter school to hold a valid teaching license. And they're going to tell me they care about education and they care about young people.
Public education for every child cannot be dismantled.
We're here to show them that our voices will be heard, and we're trying to explain to them our positions, but make no doubt about it, letting them know that we'll be watching how they vote and we'll be involved in their next election if they harm public education in the state of Indiana.
Are you tired of public ed being demonized by Governor Daniels, Tony Bennett, and those legislators?
I would say that our profession is on the line. It doesn't necessarily just come naturally to be involved politically and to be involved outside of your school day, because we all became teachers because we want to service and be with kids. It wasn't to be in the political arena and to fight these fights in our spare time. But this year, right now, I've seen more political action and the most teachers involved than I ever have in my 11 years as a teacher.